So we're very extremely honored to be here at the lotus feet of Sri Krishna Baldao. And what do you say? Or you have just have Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's lotus feet. And to be here at the lotus feet of His Divine Grace, Sri Bhakti Swami Prabhupada. And to be here with all the wonderful devotees. ISD etc. It's a great pleasure for us.
Volume can be higher or?
Do you want to give an introduction?
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Everybody, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So, we are very fortunate to hear from His Grace Deena Bandhu Prabhu again. So, we have been blessed by Deena Bandhu Prabhu throughout this week. So Prabhuji was born in Los Angeles, California, who joined this Krishna consciousness movement when he was just 20 years old. Yeah,
Exactly.
in 1969 in a place called Boulder, Colorado. He was the first devotee to join. And the following year in 1970, he was sent to Los Angeles to get trained up, and where he first met Srila Prabhupada and got initiated in the LA temple. And soon after that, he was sent to Dallas to open the temple. So the first temple of Dallas was opened by Deena Bandhu Prabhu and other few devotees. After that, he was in Houston. Then from 1972 to 78, he was a president of Portland Temple. Prabhuji moved to Colombia in 1980, where he preached in Spanish language. So he was in Colombia for almost 5 years. And then in 1984, he moved to Vrindavan. And Prabhuji started staying in Vrindavan there, and in 1986 he was appointed as the president of Krishna Balaram Temple, the service which he did for more than 3 years. Around 1988, a saint in Vrindavan named Baba Madhav Das, he approached him to take over the restoration project of Radha Kund. It's a very beautiful temple near Nandagaon. I'm sure many of you have been there. It's a place of Srimati Vrindadevi. So in 2003, a beautiful carved-stone temple of Srimati Vrindadevi was inaugurated in Vrindavan, and Deena Bandhu Prabhu maintained that temple for more than 30 years. Prabhuji started taking people on parikrama, and whoever comes to Vrindavan, they know that Prabhuji is known for his parikramas, his kathas, and his research on Vrindavan, where he tells different pastimes which is unknown to the world. I mean, he knows many local pastimes, many other things. Amongst various other significant projects in Vrindavan, he did the restoration of Samadhi Mandir of Srila Sanatana Goswami, which is next to Madan Mohan Temple. Also, he has been an active supporter to restore Mother Yamuna. So it's a very good fortune to have him among us today, and so that he can transport us to Sri Vrindavana Dhama. Sri Vrindavana Dhama ki Jai. So let us welcome him by loudly chanting Hari Bol 3 times. Okay?
Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Hari Bol!
His Grace Deena Bandhu Prabhu ki
Jai.
Prabhupada ki
Jai.
So we're very delighted to be here with everyone tonight. And this evening, we're going to take you to Vrindavan without ticket, without reservation, no security check, no mask. So to start off the program, we have very nice bhajan. Not so common, but it's a very beautiful bhajan on Narottam Das Thakur. So if you have your devices, first of all, you can put them all on silent. These little babies have a way of, very bad habit of crying in the middle of the lecture. And you can look up, Gauranga Karuna Koro.
Everybody at the back can hear?
Yeah.
Gauranga Karuna Koro Dina Hina Jani. line of spiritual masters, the second generation of Vaishnavacharyas. And he says, Gauranga Karuna Koro Dina Hina Jani. He's taking our position that we're all Dina Hina. We're very poor and without any help. Dina Hina Jani. Mosamo Patita Prabhu Na Paive Tri Bhuvani. Like me, you won't find anyone as fallen as me. Mosamo Patita Prabhu Nai. In this three bhuvan, in three worlds, you won't find anyone more fallen than me. Then he says, he challenges the Lord. Isyari doya na korive patita dekhiya. Seeing me as being very fallen, since you're seeing me as very fallen, if you don't give me mercy, daya na korive, if you don't give mercy to me, Then Patita Pavana Nama Kisera Lagi. Why do you have this name Patita Pavana? You have this name, I'm Petit, and like in the three worlds there's no one more Petit. So he challenged the Lord, what's the use of your name Patita Pavana if you don't give me mercy? A very sweet little challenge to the Lord. Srila Narottam Das Thakur ki Jai. Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu ki Jai. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chaksurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manubhistam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Sayam Rupa Kadamayam Dalati Swapanam Hikam. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasani Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vanchakalpatrubhyascha kripa sindhu vaivata patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So somehow on the way here I was remembering one very wonderful pastime of Srila Prabhupada. As we heard, I used to live in, I was present in a Portland temple from 72 to 78. And at that time, now he's Mukunda Goswami, at that time he was Mukunda Dasadekar, he was living with his wife, not far, just across the, what is the river, the Columbia River, I guess. No, I was in Portland, he was just across in the state of Washington, Kelso, Washington, just across the river there. So he used to come and visit the temple sometimes, and he would tell me stories all the way back to the very, very beginning. Because somehow or other he was in a band, and they were just becoming very famous. And he was feeling the pinch of material fame. Because before, when they were practicing, they're just jamming, they're having a good time with each other, and it was really nice, you know. And now they become those famous, they have to negotiate contracts, you know, the people don't want to pay so much, and he's thinking we're worth more, so they have to negotiate, nasty negotiations are going on. And then, before we just play whatever we want, now we have to play whatever the audience wants. And he was feeling just at that point in his life the pinch of material fame. And somebody came and told him because he was living not far from the Bowery. Now, I don't know what the Bowery's like now, but anyway, in those days, Bowery was the bowels of New York. Nowadays we call them homeless, but those days we just call them bums. And they were all over the street, and lying on the street, and so many things. So somebody came and told him that one of his friends said that there's this Swamiji on the Bowery, and he's teaching Sanskrit. They thought he was teaching Sanskrit because, you know, he would speak from Bhagavad Gita, quoting the Sanskrit slokas and thing, and teach the Sanskrit slokas. So one day he decided to go and check it out. So he wandered down to the Bowery, and he found the address, and he was on the top floor, and the top floor was called AIR, not All Indian Radio, but Artist in Residence. And some boy had gotten a big inheritance, and he was an artist, so in his romantic vision, he thought he'd go to New York and rent because he's lost, you know, there's windows all around, but they're very airy and sunny, and you could paint, and rent was very cheap for these places, so he thought he was going to become a big famous artist, and so he rented it. He paid the whole rent for the year, in fact, and because he had money, and suddenly he had so many friends. As soon as you have a lot of money, then suddenly you have so many friends. So you don't have money, even your relatives don't care for you, even your wife and kids don't care for you. So where was I?
artisan residence.
Oh, so he rented this whole loft. Anyway, he got all these friends, and after a while he realized they were all exploiting him. So he got depressed and had a mental breakdown. And he was going to Prabhupada's lectures uptown when Prabhupada was staying with Dr. Mishra. So he thought he was leaving. He said, better I leave this to Swamiji. And so he invited Swamiji to come and live there. Unfortunately, he told a couple other friends they could also stay there. So Prabhupada was staying there in this place on the Bowery, which was, of course, all the young people were down in that area, because Prabhupada had been up in the stuffy uptown New York where everything was a little stuffy. So he was down where it was happening, where all the young people were. But Bowery's not a very nice place. So he found the address, and then he had to step over all these drunken bums. And, you know, they're just, all they do is they beg some money, and they buy something to drink, they get drunk, and then, you know, if you drink a lot, then it has to come out also. And now you're drunk and you don't feel like going anywhere. So they would just go behind the staircase and do their duty. And so the whole place, of course for Prabhupada, the bums somehow they respected him. They would stand up and they would, you know, please come, you know. They would stand up for Prabhupada and they would help, you know, showing the way to the staircase. But the whole place just stunk like stale urine. He said my nose was just assaulted. This horrible smell. And I couldn't imagine, what does the Swami Kamindi doing in such a place? And he walked up the stairs to the top floor, and he knocked on the door, and nobody came to the door, just he heard a voice, come in. So he came inside, he opened the door, he said, I stepped back 5,000 years in history. He opened his door and there was this golden person who looked like something out of 5,000 years before. He didn't have a kurtan, he just, because it was hot. It's hot in New York in the summer, humid. So he just had his uttariya and his flowing saffron robes. He was sitting behind a shipping trunk. Nowadays we all have these nice Samsung suitcases and things, but in the old days it was shipping trunks. So Prabhupada was using that as his table. And he had a broken typewriter, and the scene didn't make any sense. Here's this genie who popped out of a lamp from 5,000 years ago. You know, he's sitting behind this trunk, and with a broken typewriter and all these manuscripts piled up all around. Prabhupada was translating Bhagavad Gita. And he said Prabhupada looked at him just like someone, when you see an old friend, you know, you're walking down the street, and you suddenly see a old friend you haven't seen for years, you know what type of look you get on your face, you know? So Prabhupada looked at it like that, said, come in. Yeah? And there was no place to sit, so he understood he had to sit on the floor, so he sat down, you know, and Prabhupada was talking to him. And he invited him to come. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, there was Bhagavad Gita class, so he invited him to come, and he started coming. And one day, one of the boys took some LSD and went on a bad trip, and he threatened Prabhupada. He threw a bar of soap at Prabhupada in the shower, and it was just completely crazy. And Prabhupada grabbed his things and ran down to the street. He didn't know whether to go left or right. And I tell you, New York City is not the place if you don't have any place to be, to stay. You know, Prabhupada didn't know left or right. Somehow he had the phone number for one black American devotee named Cleaver, who later became Karlapati. And Cleaver gave Prabhupada his address and the directions to get there from the loft. So somehow he got to Cleaver's house. Now Cleaver, he was married to a white woman. I wasn't even married, he was just living with a white woman. And this was the beginning of feminism. And she did not like Prabhupada at all, and she saw that her husband was taking interest in him. That made her even more envious. And here was Prabhupada, you know, explained the situation. He had no place to stay, so they had him sleeping on the couch in the living room. Then he had to tiptoe through their bedroom to use the only bathroom. Very uncomfortable situation for Prabhupada, but he was tolerating all of that just to save us. So at that time, Mukunda, he was like a leader amongst his group of friends. So they decided Saturday morning to go see Mukunda and see what he would suggest that they do. So they went, and it must have been 7 o'clock in the morning, and for somebody who's in a band playing all night, that was an ungodly hour. 7 o'clock you pick up, oh my God, the sun is shining. Maybe 9, 10 o'clock you get up. So Mukunda, suddenly somebody's knocking at his door, and he opened the door, and there was Prabhupada, and he was just realizing Prabhupada's my spiritual master, and he didn't know what to do, and so he invited him in to sit down, and Prabhupada recognized his, bewilderment, and he said, it is proper when the spiritual master comes, you offer some fruits. So immediately he woke up Johnny, he cut up some fruit quickly, and then they sat down, and America means television. No matter what you're doing, the television has to be going on. Even my mother, she had a TV in her bedroom in the ceiling, so she's asleep. But she'd watch it and fall asleep. So first thing Mukunda did, he just turned on the TV. It's Saturday morning, so maybe Mighty Mouse or Sheriff John or something was on it. And Prabhupada just looked, he said, this is nonsense. And Mukunda, one motion, he jumped off the couch and snapped it off. Yes, Swamiji. And then Cleaver began to explain, the situation. And he kept saying, you have to do something. You have to do something. So what do you think we should do? And Mukunda had no idea what to do, and Prabhupada looked at him and cocked his head, just like sometimes you see in the profile of Srila Prabhupada, just like with his head cocked like this, like a swan gliding across the lake, And he said, even now if I close my eyes, I can see Prabhupada's eyes just looking through me. And I had no idea what I was going to do, but all right, we'll do something, we'll figure something out, So then they found that place on 26 Second Avenue. So they arranged to meet with the owner. And the owner was very respectful. When Prabhupada came, he held the chair for him to sit down. He would call him Your Excellency and like that. And, somehow the boys got very enthusiastic. They were talking to him and telling him about their Bhagavad Gita classes and their program for establishing Krishna consciousness. And he was just, because Prabhupada was elderly, he was being very respectful. So devotees got really excited, They said, and now you know when you missed out. Just for $20, you can become our life member. For $20 a month, you can become our life member. So the owner, he just looked at them and he said, all right, we'll knock $20 off the rent. How about if we do that? He was asking for like $200, so we came down to $180. Or something like that, I don't remember exactly. But he knocked off something. Then Prabhupada signed. So you missed out. I don't know how much you paid to become a life member, but you missed out on the discount. So Prabhupada signed those old Bhagavatams. Those are priceless nowadays, if anybody has one. He signed them and gave them to this man. He was just ordinary, American guy, blue denim pants, a blue denim shirt, and, probably just watch football and drink beer all day on Saturday, and just normal guy. And he said, I'm not worthy to take such a thing for me. He said, no, you take. We gave him this Bhagavatam. So they got this place. And it was just a empty storefront. Nothing was there. Just they got some milk crates, put an old blanket over top of them, old rug, I guess, over top, and a little cushion behind, and that was Prabhupada's Vyasa son. So it was going on like that. Then the Mott Street crew started coming, the Kirtananda and Umapati and other boys. And they had been to India, and they were looking around. The place is just so desolate and empty, we should fix it up. So they brought they had bedspreads from Jaipur, Tree of Life on them, and tie-dye, and all these things, and had all these posters that they brought from India, and they had brass bells on strings, so they strung up brass bells here and there. And some of the other boys came in, and they said, "What is this?" He said, "We're decorating this temple for Krishna." He said, "No, this is extra. Swamiji says we just take what's essential, what's our quota. This is Maya." He said, "No, we're decorating this temple for Krishna." No, this is Maya. Swami said, we just take the essential. This is extra stuff. This is Maya. So this was the first ISKCON politics. I had to stop Sam's video. I guess Prabhupada heard some noise going on because his partner was backside. So Prabhupada came, and he came into the room, and he looked around, and his eyes got very big like a little boy, And he looked around, and he gave the verdict. He said, "This is Krishna consciousness." We don't hear that anymore. When I became a devotee way back in 1969, if by accident we did something right, because we never did anything right by purpose, by accident we did something right, then our older godbrothers and godsters, "Oh, this is Krishna consciousness." That's sort of lost nowadays, but in the old days, we said, "This is Krishna consciousness." And then Prabhupada went around and he saw the different posters they put up. Some demigod posters there, so Prabhupada would say, "Take this down," And then there was one poster they didn't know what. They thought maybe it was a cat or something. What's Swamiji going to say about that? And Prabhupada got there. He said, "Oh, this is a great monkey devotee of Lord Ram named Hanuman." Monkey devotee? And somehow or other, although it's very rare, especially back in those days, they had a picture of Sadbhuj Mahaprabhu. 2 arms for Lord Ram, 2 arms for Lord Krishna, and 2 arms with Danda and Kamandala. So Prabhupada came and said, "Oh, this is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu." And they all looked, because Prabhupada had mentioned it in his lectures, they were hearing about this Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but they didn't know anything about him. And this guy with 6 arms, and this is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Prabhupada, he went around and he, took down some pictures and told them to put other pictures. And this is how it all started. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Prabhupada had to tolerate so many things for just to save us from this deep dark Kali Yuga. And I'm so fortunate we could tell us all these old stories. Then what happened one time, he came and he was going to visit Prabhupada in LA. Somehow Prabhupada, Sham Sundar actually had called him, said, "You come, Prabhupada's in LA, you should come." So he came to the temple. He said, "I won't be back for a few days, so I'm going to keep the car here, otherwise you have to pay rent at the airport, And I said, "No problem, we'll keep it for you." Then when he came back, I thought, now I'm going to get some nectar. He was just with Prabhupada in LA, and I'm going to get some nectar. I drove to the airport and picked him up. And he was very grave and very quiet, withdrawn, And I kept saying, "What?" Trying to get some nectar. And I said, "You're with Prabhupada in LA?" Yeah. He was asking about the negotiations for Bhaktivedanta Manor. I said, "How are they going on?" He asked this and that. And he just wouldn't talk, couldn't figure out what, And then he got back to the temple and he said, I'm just wallowing in the muck, Prabhu. I'm just wallowing in the muck. And then he left. And then one day I got a call, and he said, "I'm leaving for London. I won't be coming to see you anymore. So I'm going to London." And I said, "What's this all about, And then a few days later, Sudama Swami came with his bus party, and he'd been in LA. And I told him that I just got a call from Mukunda that he's going to London. He said, "Yes, I was there in the room." He came to meet Prabhupada, and Prabhupada asked him a few questions about the manner and things like that. And then he asked Mukunda, "What are you doing?" So, Swami Prabhupada, I have a job. I make about $1,000 a month. That was a lot of money those days. And Prabhupada said, and you do not give anything to my book fund? You do not give anything to my book fund? He said, well, Prabhupada, Janaki and I, we have to live. Yes, you have simply become a karmi, keeping a wife and working, that's all. With the left hand, you can go. So Mukunda was totally destroyed, and Prabhupada said, you're just a karmi, keeping wife and working, that's all. You can go. So then he went to Shyam Sundar and he told Shyam Sundar what happened. He was saying Prabhupada has rejected me. Shyam said, Prabhupada's your father. It's the father's duty to chastise the son. He's chastising you. He hasn't rejected you. Prabhupada loves you like anything. Don't take it so seriously. But he took it seriously. And he packed up everything and went off to London. Later became Mukunda Maharaj. And now he's writing these nice books, Miracle and Second Evidence. But I got these things straight from his mouth. It's so lucky. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So next we'll sing one of Prabhupada's very favorite bhajans. Jai Radhe, Jai Krishna. You can look up Jai Radhe, Jai Krishna, Jai Vrindavana. Jai Radhe, Jai Krishna, Jai Vrindavana. My favorite bhajan is Srila Prabhupada. Jayo Radhe, Jayo Krishna, Jaya Vrindavana. Jaya of the Holy Ram, Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Jai Jai Sri Radhe Shyam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So actually all the places that we see in Vrindavan, we only see by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he came to Vrindavan and he visited all the forests. And then he sent the 6 Goswamis to discover all the lost holy places because they'd all been lost, most of them. In fact, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, he discovered Radha Kund Shyama. There's nice description in Chaitanya Charitamrita. He came to one forest very close to our temple actually, just like 10-15 minutes away, Bahulavan. And from Bahulavan, he started heading towards Govardhan. But he wasn't like you coming with nice AC car and AC bus. He was coming on his lotus feet, with his arm raised in the air, chanting very loudly, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
And he was completely lost in ecstasy, with no external consciousness. As they approached the end of Govardhan Hill, that Balabhadra Bhattacharya who was guiding him, he asked one villager, what is the name of this village? And that villager said, Aritagram. As soon as the sound of Aritagram entered Mahaprabhu's ears, he began to ask everyone, where's Radha Kund Shyama Kund? But nobody could tell, they were lost. Now why hearing Aritagram did Mahaprabhu think of Radha Kund Shyama Kund? Because the original name of this place is Aristagram, where Krishna killed that Aristasura demon, who came in the form of a bull. So we heard that Radha Kund and Shyama Kund is a very sweet Madhurya Ras place. So what does this terrible demon named Aristasura have to do with this place? Well, it just so happens that Krishna had gotten all dressed up. Prabhupada says, just like Natavara, dancing actor. Beautiful pitambar dhoti, red sash, nice golden chadar, peacock feather in his hair, just like Natavara. To do ras with the gopis. When he heard the news that this Aristasura was terrorizing the Vrishvasis, you thought this terrorism was a new thing. This has been going on for the last 5,000 years. This was Arista bin Laden. So he was tearing up the ground with his hooves. He was smashing the Vrishvasi houses with his horns. He was so tall, his tail was swatting the clouds here and there. He was roaring. Was giving the cows and the Vrishvasanis miscarriages. Terrible demon. And Krishna challenged him, he became very angry. Why are you disturbing my Vrishvasi friends? You rascal. And then just to show he was completely unconcerned with this demon, he put his hand on the shoulder of his friend. He describes in Nectar Devotion. Just put his hand on the shoulder of his friend. But he wasn't afraid. And that Aristasura, he dug the ground with his hooves, he aimed his horns at Krishna, and he began to charge. And Prabhupada describes in Nectar Devotion that Krishna is very intelligent. He knows how to deal with the bull. You have to deal with him by the horns. So he charged at Krishna. Krishna grabbed him by the horns and swung him around and around and around and around. And just by the centrifugal force, his life force came out of his body. And Krishna smashed him on the ground. and pulled out one of his horns and smashed him a few more times, bang, 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 just to make sure. And then stomped on him like a wet sponge. And passing stool and urine simultaneously, he went to the kingdom of death. Then Krishna told Radharani and the gopis, all right, now we can do ras. And Radharani said, how we can be associated with such a person as you? You have done a big pop. You know pop, Coca-Cola 7 no. Pop means sin. You did a big pop. How we can be associated with you? Krishna said, what pop did I do? He said, you killed a bull. Krishna said, that was not a bull, that was a demon. Radharani said, may have been a demon, but he was in the form of a bull. And Krishna may have been in the form of a bull, but he was a demon. And Radharani said, well, we heard from Mother Purnamasi that one time Indra, he killed one demon. You remember that Vritrasura, huh? He was a demon, but he was a Brahmin. He got reaction. Remember in Srimad Bhagavatam, it talks that old lady with tuberculosis, coughing blood, came chasing after him. He had to hide in the lake of lotuses for 1,000 years or something. He got reaction. So Krishna says, all right, so what do I have to do to get free from this reaction? And Radharani, all the Sakis, they consulted one another. And Radharani said, you will have to take bath at all the sacred places of the universe. And Krishna said, Are, that will take a long time. How I can be away from you girls for so long? He said, I will call all the sacred places in one spot and take my bath. And Radharani and the gopis said, oh, don't try to fool us with your magic. We don't believe in your magic, Kanaya. And Krishna took his right foot and he stomped the ground and made a very deep depression. Then he played on his flute, and all the sacred places in the universe came with folded hands and bending over. And he said, Maharaj, we say Hare? And Krishna said, yes. You give your introduction, you chant your mantra, and you pour your water in my kund. So all the sacred places came forward. I'm the milk ocean, I'm the sugarcane juice ocean, I'm Pushkar, I'm Rishikesh, I'm Hardwar, I'm Prayag. All the holy places came and gave their introduction, chanted their mantra, and poured their water in Krishna's kund. And Krishna, just by his eyes, he was showing the gopis, see? Because when we have love, then we don't even need words. Just like when we're angry, then we shout at each other. We're face to face, but we shout. Why? Because our hearts have gone very far apart. So although we're standing face to face, we shout. But when our hearts are very close together, then we just talk very sweet words. Or sometimes just with our eyes. So Krishna was showing with his eyes. I told you, they're coming, see? So finally this went on for a very long time, became very late. Then Krishna took his bath and he told Radharani, now you come in this kund and we'll enjoy jalakeli, water pastimes. And Radharani said, this kund is contaminated with your sin. How we can come in this kund? We're going to make our own kund. So on the other side, there was a depression where Vritrasura had dug his hoof into the ground. So Radharani broke her kankan, her golden bangle, and she began to dig. And all the Sakis, they broke their kankans and they began to dig. In 1987, I became president in 87, they did the cleaning of Radha Kund. They pumped out all the water. And we just happened to come on the day. They pumped out all the water. And down in the very middle of the kund, you can't believe how many steps down it is. So many steps down. There was this original Kankan Kund. If you go on YouTube and you type either Kangan Kund or Kankan Kund, either one, can see in 2010, I believe, and 1987. I saw both, 2007 and 1910 and 1987. And we just went down. We saw that Kankan Kund. We were walking in mud up to our calves. We pulled up our dhotis and saris, and we circumambulated the Kund. And one devotee was with us, Ram Roy, who now runs the Harinam party in New York, every day chanting, and somehow, somewhere or another, chanting in New York. The Ram Roy, he just put on his gums and boom. And we just, the rest of us up to our calves in mud. We went around, we took some water on our heads. We were so fortunate. And we told all the devotees, now they pumped out, and we saw from every corner of the Kund, water was coming. There's so many underground springs, water was coming from everywhere. And we went back and we told the devotees, now you can see Kankan, now you can see. Devotees came the next day, it was already filled up, halfway full. Just somehow by Krishna's grace, we came on that exact day. And in 2010, we also saw the Kankan, we got darshan. So, Radharani and the Sakis began to dig, and within a short time, they made a beautiful Kund. And Krishna came, he said, your Kund is very beautiful, but there's no water in it. And Radharani said, we're going to bring water from Manasi Ganga. We'll have thousands of gopis, one line coming, one line going, with silver and gold water pots. We're going to bring water from Manasi Ganga and fill up this pool. Now Krishna, he doesn't like to see Radharani or the gopis doing any parishram, any hard work. He can't bear to see even bead of perspiration come on Radharani's brow. So immediately he signaled to all those sacred places personified, and they became one person. And they came before Srimati Radhika. Now she saw he's coming from Krishna's side, so she's a little suspicious. And he began to pray that we thought that the perfection of life was to be associated with the lotus feet of Sri Krishna. Because when Krishna bathed in all the waters, he became purified, right? Somebody says no, huh? Yet. No, all the places personified, all the places became purified because Krishna bathed in them. But seeing Krishna's devotion for your lotus feet and seeing your divine, wonderful qualities, we can understand the real perfection of life is to be associated with your lotus feet. And Radharani says, what is it that you want? So, we want to come in your Kund. So Radharani, she smiled at Krishna, and she shook her head. This is one of the trickiest things we would tell you, because sometimes this can be no, sometimes you just have to understand the bob and the way they do it. I remember I was on the plane and I was in the row where the exit is, the stewardess came down and she gave all the instructions. Said, do you understand? I have to explain it again? I said, no, I understand. So then they broke the wall between Shyama Kund, and all the water from Shyama Kund poured into Radha Kund. And this happened exactly at the midnight. So then Krishna, he told Radharani, he said, your Kund is very beautiful, and I will always come and bathe in your Kund. And Radharani said, and your Kund is very beautiful, we will always come in, bathe in your Kund. In this way, although Radha Kund and Shyama Kund are eternal, they have this pastime of appearance. Therefore, when Mahaprabhu heard this is a Ritagram, he began to ask everyone, where's Radha Kund and Shyama Kund? But nobody could tell. They were lost to the eyes of the world. But we know Krishna, the Lord Chaitanya, he's the same Vrajanandandan, Vrajanandandan say Sati Sutta Vairunji. Balaram Hoilo Nitai. So he sat under a tamal tree. Unfortunately, that tamal tree is no longer in existence. And he saw there was two paddy fields. One was called Kali, one was called Glory. So we can understand Kali, that means this is Krishna's Kund, Shyama Kund. And Glory, Golden, this is Radha Kund. So he went down, whatever water was there, he began to bathe in that water in the middle of the paddy fields. And all the Vrishvasis were totally astonished. They said, what is this sannyasi doing? And they saw his ecstatic love, and they saw his amazing qualities. And they began to speculate who he might be. Somebody said, he might be our same Vrajanananda Sham Sundar, but instead of blackish, instead of Sham Sundar, he's Gaur Sundar. And instead of flute and cowherd stick, he's got this sannyas danda and kamandam. But he's the same Vrajanananda Sham Sundar. They all understood this. And Mahaprabhu bathed with it, whatever water was there. And he began to chant very many beautiful prayers. You can learn all these prayers. They're in Chaitanya Church, whatever your language is. I'm sure we have Chaitanya Church down in your own language. You can learn these prayers and the translations in your own language. Sava Gopi Haite Radha Krishna Ra Prayasi Haite Radha Kunda Priya Priya Rasarasi Sava Gopi Haite Radha Krishna Ra Priyasi. Of all the gopis, Radharani is most dear to Krishna. Haite Radha Kunda Priya Priya Rasa. In the same way, this Kund known as Radha Kund is just as dear to Krishna as Radharani. From Padma Puran he chanted, Yatha Radha Priya Vishnus Tasya Kundam Priyam Tata Sarva Gopishu Saivaika Vishnu Ratyanta Vallabha. Yatha Radha Priya Vishnus, just as Radharani is very dear to Vishnu or Krishna. Yatha Radha Priya Vishnus Tasya Kundam Priyam Tata. This Kund known as Radha Kund just as dear to Krishna. Sarva Gopishu Saivaika, we all know Sarva, all the gopis. Vishnu Atyant. When we want to say the mostest extremist of anything, then we say Atyant. Atyanta Balavan, mostest belovedest of Krishna. Sarva Gopis like Eka, there's one most belovedest of Krishna. Kunde Nitya Krishna Radhika Rasange Jale Jala Keli Kori Tire Rasarangi. This Chaitanya Charitamrita is so sweet. Even Hindi wala can understand this verse. Even foreign devotees can understand this. We'll see a few words in Prabhupada's books. You can learn a few words. It's so simple. Actually, Chaitanya Charitamrita is unparalleled. Even if you, from a mundane point of view, you study Bengali literature, you have to study Chaitanya Charitamrita because there's nothing like it. In very, very sweet language. It's very, very sweet language, very simple Bengali. But Prabhupada said all the deep truths of the Vedas are contained. Now if you speak sweet, flowery language, it just gets flowery and flowery and flowery, like that. And if you speak philosophy, then everybody just... But with such sweet verses, and very simple verses. What does it say? Chaitanya is the eloquence is the essence of it spoken concisely. Something like that is there. So this Chaitanya, even from mundane point of view, you study Bengali literature, you have to study Chaitanya literature. There's nothing like it. So this verse is so simple, anybody can understand. Kunde Nitya Krishna. Kunde, in this Kund, Nitya Krishna, always Krishna. Simple words. Kunde Nitya Krishna, Radhika Rasange. That way you can follow. Radhika and the song of Radharani. Kunde Nitya Krishna, Radhika Rasange. Jale. Of course, in Hindi we say Pani. Actually, that's our foreign devotees. That's the first verse that they first Hindi word that they learned, you know. We're going on pilgrimage. Oh Prabhu, where's Pani? Where's Pani? That's the difference between us and the 6 Goswamis. We read in the Sar Goswami Astaka, Hey Radhe Vrajadedi Ke Chalalite, Hey Nanda Suno Kuta. Kuta means where? Huh? Hey Radhe Vrajadedi, oh Radharani, oh Lalita, oh Krishna, where are you? Are you on the hill of Govardhan? Are you at the Tamal tree? Huh? This is the Goswamis. We come to Vrindavan. Prabhu, where's Pani? Prabhu, where's the bathroom? That's the difference between us and the Goswami. Say, Kunde Nitya Krishna Radhika Rasangi Jale. In Bengali we say Jal. So Jale means in the water. Jale Jala Keli Kori. We can understand. Jala Keli. It just sounds like what it is. Jala Keli Kori. Or Tire, we know from chanting every day, Jai Radhamara. Tire Ra Sarangi. So simple, huh? Even Hindi wala can, even foreigner can understand. E kunde nitya Krishna radhika rasangi jale jala keli kori tire ra sarangi. E kunde se ek bara kore snana thanna radha sama prema Krishna kore dana. E kunde se ek bara kore snana. You can figure that out. Everyone knows Snan Yatra. If somebody one time takes his bath in this kunde, e kunde say ek bara kore snana, chanda radha samaprema. Just like in Bhagavad Gita, we know there's one verse, Krishna says, Samoham sarvabhuteshu, I'm equal to everyone. So Radha Sama, that praying equal to Radharani's praying, Krishna kore dana. So when you go to Radha, immediately so many Brahmins will come try to get dan from you, charity. Huh? But Krishna is giving charity. Radha, what charity? Radha Sama pray. That charity equal to, that praying equal to Radharani's praying. Krishna kore dana. Kundara mahima yena Radhara mahima. Kundara madhuri yena Radhara madhurima. The glories of this Kund is just as glorious as the glories of Srimati Radhika. And the sweetness, Madhura, is just as sweet as the Madhurima, the sweetness of Radharani. So chanting all these beautiful prayers, Mahaprabhu took his bath and revealed Radha Kund and Shyama Kund to the eyes of the world. And Jiva Goswami, he explains that this happened on his commentary, he says this happened on the Chaitra Purnima night. Somehow, well, of course there's a verse in Padma Puran, it doesn't tell you about midnight or anything, it just says that if one during Kartik, on the Bahulasmi night, or Bahulasmi doesn't take night or day or anything, just on Bahulasmi Titi, if one takes bath in Radha Kund, he becomes very dear to Radharani. It just doesn't say that you have to go there at midnight or anything, it just says it's very special that day, on that Titi. So every day, we used to go with I think one time we had like 8 buses of people. There was so little crowd, 8 buses of devotees. We would go around the Kund, both Radha Kund and Shyama Kund, with kirtan 3 times. And then we go sit on the banks of we go there, leave at the temple at 10 o'clock and come there by 11. We go around, then we sit on the banks and wait for midnight, and we all, take bath and like that. So, but the last time I went, we couldn't it took us 1 hour just to get down to the Kund. People were charging up the stairs, we were trying to go down, it was a big mess, so I stopped. But then, some devotees, and they confirmed with other people, that in Jiva Goswami's commentary, he says it was on the Chaitra Purnima night. The Falgun Purnima comes first, Mahaprabhu's appearance. The next Polar Purnima, full moon, is Chaitra Purnima. Hardly anybody is there. You can very peacefully go and take your bath. Then of course the question comes about taking bath. Now, my older brothers and god sisters who lived in Vrindavan way before me told me that one time Prabhupada took them all on Prikma. You see the pictures, somehow Guru Das, Those days there were mobile phones and cameras were luxury. But somehow Guru just got some nice pictures, Prabhupada in the palki at Varsana and coming around Shukhamani, Nandigram temple, so many things. So they came to Radha Kund. Prabhupada took with his danda, he pointed, this is Radha Kund, and the devotees just jumped into their gamsas and swimming outfits and jumped into the water. And the only thing Prabhupada did with his cane, because we all forgot our bodies completely, and Prabhupada was there just trying that the girl should go to this side and the boy should go to this side. He didn't stop it, he didn't say it was wrong or anything. But since us, especially as foreigners, were very frivolous, we would go to Radha Kund and we do cannonballs and backflips and splash and jump. And then finally this was reported to Prabhupada. He said, you just go, you take 3 drops of water on your head, bas. But I did some very deep research on this, and you can see in the database. In 1977, in the middle of Damodar month, there comes a Govardhan Puja. So Prabhupada was talking about doing Govardhan Tripura on Govardhan Puja day. And finally the devotees, Krishnadas Babaji came, his very dear godbrother, Krishnadas Babaji. He told me, you can't do this. It's impractical. You'll never survive such a thing. So finally Prabhupada said, all right, but you all go. And Krishnadas Babaji will be my representative. And I think nowadays there's a beautiful exchange between Prabhupada and Krishnadas Babaji. It's all in Bengali, so it's an older database is not there, but the Bengali is there now. Prabhupada tells Krishnadas in Bengali, just see how much they love me. His devotees, Tamal, especially Tamal, he was crying and he knew that Prabhupada never laughed on such a predicament. So, he said, just see how much they love me. And Krishnadas, I can't remember exactly what he said, some sweet thing.
It's in the book.
It's in the book. So, then, when it's decided that the devotees will go and Govardhan Trikam on Govardhan Puja Day, then Tamal begins to describe. We'll see Kusum Sarovar, we'll see Manasi Ganga, we'll see Govinda Kund, we'll see Radha Kund, and Prabhupada says, yes, you all go take bath on my behalf. So this is my version of the final order, because that's the final order. Prabhupada says, you all go take bath on my behalf. So we can do Ritvik Snan in Radha Kund on behalf of Sri Prabhupada. That's the real final order. Of course, you consult with your spiritual master, but the final order Prabhupada said, yes, you all will take that. But very reverently, no jumping and spinning and diving. And first you take some water. Some devotees are so fanatic, they crawl head first into the Kund. At least you take some water on your head first and you put your feet in the Kund. Or if you want, you can crawl in also, it's very nice. So, somehow or other, on that particular night, there's a Devi called Ahoy Devi around the Prikamar Marg. There's one demigod temple, Ahoy Devi. And that night is a fertility rite. And you'll see, if you go to Radha Kund and the Baulasani, you'll see all the Brijvasis throwing peta into the Kund. Because they're all hoping, by throwing this peta in the Kund, that in their wife's pet, they'll become a bacha. So somehow this Padma Puran verse and this Ahoy Devi fertility rite got all mixed up, and everybody thinks that the purest day of Radha Kund is on Bahulasami Day, but it's actually Chaitra Purnima. If you go on that night, very peacefully you can take your bath. Sri Radha Kund Shyama Kund ki Jai. What time is it?
8:20.
8:20. Okay, so we should probably put our voice to rest here. If anyone has any questions, we could try to answer them. Everyone fell asleep in my lecture. Okay, here's.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. When Krishna called all the holy places, was it the holy rivers or the places? Was it the holy rivers or holy places?
Holy?
River.
Oh, just rivers and so many, even Pushkar came, so many places came. But they were all personified. As I said, he played the flute and all the holy places personified. He appeared there. He says, you pour your water in my kund. First you give your introduction, you chant your mantra, and you pour your water in my kund.
It was Ganga, Yamuna and all
Ganga, Yamuna, everyone came.
It's like holy land or holy rivers? That's what he's asking. Holy land or holy river?
He said all the holy places of the universe, wherever is a holy place, there's a kund. So they poured their water in his kund. Yes, there's a question back here.
So,
Wait, Bhakta Mike is coming.
thank you, Prabhu, for the ticketless trip to
Can I
Vrindavan.
help him? Turning down.
Hello.
Wrong place. Press on hold.
All right, talk loudly.
Thank you, Prabhu, for the ticketless trip to Vrindavan. So my question is, I'm curious whether if Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ever went to Dwarkadhish. So like when we hear of Krishna's life, at least I hear more often about Vrindavan and Mathura and that land, but less about Dwarkadhish. So just curious, why?
Somehow I don't know of any pastime of Mahaprabhu. When he was doing all the South Indian tour, I don't believe that he went to Dwarka. Do you know any pastime? Never heard.
I want to work out.
But Dwarka is a very nice place. It's the cleanest place I ever saw in Bharat.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Just one quick question. How can we live in Vrindavan by staying in San Jose?
Well, first you come and visit, just like Jagadananda, he always wanted to go to Vrindavan. Finally, Mahaprabhu gave him permission. He said, you go there, you stay with Sanatana Goswami. With Sanatana Goswami, you go see all the holy places. You won't understand the Vishwasis, don't offend them, but don't mix intimately with them, and then you come back. So when you go there, you should stay with the devotees. He told him, you stay with Sanatana Goswami. He said, and with Sanatana Goswami, with the Vaishnava, you go and see all these places. And then you return. And when you return, you'll always think, oh, we went to Vrindavan. Krishna Balaram were so amazing. This Krishna Balao here is so amazing. I mean, I'm really astonished to see this so beautiful. This Krishna. The Krishna Balaram Vrindavan was so amazing. Radha Shamsundar was so beautiful. Morning time was so ecstatic. Prabhupada's Samadhi was so amazing. And we went to Nandagam with Deena Bandhu. We went to Govardhan with Deena Bandhu. When can I go again? And you'll always think of Vrindavan that way. So you go there, you stay with the devotees, you see the places with the devotees, you come back here, and you just always remember. Those who always remember Vrindavan, they actually live in Vrindavan. Those who are staying there, they forgot. They're all busy eating, sleeping, and making politics, and they forgot what is Vrindavan. Only a few handfuls of people actually meditating that I'm in Vrindavan. Because you come back here and you think, oh, when can I go again? Such a wonderful place. And when you go there, you have a mood of service. Because I will give you one example. There was one lady actually originally she's from Mauritius, but she lives in Toronto with her husband. And she would come on all my krikamas, and she would always bring little boxes of saffron, kesher. And whatever was her favorite temple in that place, she would always give them, because they take chandan and kesher and they mix all the make gopi dasa and Radha and Krishna. So all her favorite temples she would give. And now Krishna grabbed her and she stays in Vrindavan. So you go there with a mood of service, not this is a picnic and we're just having a grand old time, but we should go with the mood of service. You can do some service for Radha Sundar, or you can do some service. We have Goshala. Now we have two Goshalas, one in Vrindavan and one in just a little 7 or 8 kilometers away on new property. And we have devotee care department. None of us pay anything for our health problems. Instead of insurance, we have a fund, and when devotee promised that I will put in 1 lakh, you put in 1 lakh, and whatever else you collect, you put in this fund. We're doing the same thing insurance. They just put all the money in some sort of investment and make money off that and pay your insurance bills. So we just cut them out and make it do it ourselves. So you can give a donation to the devotee care department to serve the Vaishnavas. You can give some donation for Prabhupada's house, upkeep, whatever. Just go there with the attitude of service. Any other question?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Oh, but the mic came back. He fainted. He was hearing his answers and he just fainted.
So, this is little personal plus Krishna consciousness question. We see that generally now world is moving towards comfort, world is modernizing, westernizing. But I believe you did the exact opposite. And 40, 50 years back, Vrindavan must not be like how it is now. And so I have 2 questions. So, what was your thought process and conviction point that made you think that now I should go to Vrindavan and live there? And after you moved there, how was the journey? Was it easy, or did you ever compare the life back? And so how did Krishna consciousness?
Somehow or other, even first time we went was 1974. We used to have the Mayapur Vrindavan Festival. Now Purpani has become the Mayapur Festival and Kartik's become the Vrindavan Festival. We used to spend 2 weeks with Prabhupada in Mayapur and 2 weeks with Prabhupada in Vrindavan. So first time I went in 74. At that time, we didn't have any money, we didn't have anything. So in Mayapur, they were cooking with buffalo ghee, and our foreign bodies weren't ready for buffalo ghee. Everybody was so sick. Somehow Guru Das and Jamuna, they understood what was happening. They very mild prasadam for us. They were just like our mother and father. They took so nice care of us, I remember. But even I was sick as a dog. I was just thinking, somehow or other, I just felt at home in Vrindavan. I felt this is my place. And even before I was a devotee, people used to tell me, you don't tell stories, you tell movies. So, my first Prikama Guru in 1974 was Guru Das. He told the stories, he took us to all the places and told the stories so enlivened, lively way. I just became inspired. And 51 years ago when they established the temple, sometimes you're very sick, but it was very difficult. Sometimes you just get so sick and think about going back. And Vrindavan is just, there's some, once it gets under your skin, there's just that bliss that you feel in Vrindavan you can't find anywhere else. So just we stayed. And 51 years ago when Krishna Balaram Mandir was inaugurated in 1975, I was there. And I begged to stay, because the Jews, you're temple president, we can't give you up. But they needed people, because one day to the next, 1 minute to the next, it was, 1 minute it was just a construction site, and next minute all of a sudden, Gornitai, Krishna, Prabhupada, and Bhakti Siddhanta, Krishna Balaram, and Chota Krishna Balaram, and Gorni, and Radha Sundar, and Lalita Visakha. It became a full-fledged temple from one minute to the next. All of a sudden, there was no DD department. It was just a construction site. So they were begging for people to stay. And I begged my GBC, but they wouldn't let me go. But anyway, I served Vrindavan for 10 years. In 1984, somehow Krishna grabbed me and said, all right, you stay here. And at that time, in 1975, 51 years ago, the Brijvasis told Prabhupada, why you built your temple there? Who will go? Now if you come in Kartik, you can't even get into the temple room for Mangal Arti at 4:30 in the morning. And it's not our devotees, it's just become the fashion that if you're in Vrindavan overnight, you must see the Mangal Arti in ISKCON. Yeah? So now people, they come 4:30 in the morning, wherever they're staying, they come there to see the Mangal Arti. Luckily for us youngsters, they rope off the front so we can go back and forth between the three altars very comfortably. Yeah? And sometimes, just like, I remember there's one lady, she was complaining to one of the shopkeepers in the Loy Bazaar. And it's so crowded now and so much development has come up. He just looked at her and he said, Mataji, you don't see Vrindavan with your eyes. And then he looked out into outer space and his eyes glazed over. He said, you see Vrindavan with your heart. And then suddenly Vrindavan just opened up for her. So sometimes, because the Mangal Arti, it's the only time they rope it up. So other artists were down there getting pushed and shoved and everything. But I just see Prabhupada up there in Golok. They told me, who will go there? Now you can't even get in. And being pushed and shoved. I said, Prabhupada's up there laughing in Golok. So. And still so many nice places. We're still discovering nice places where there's no development or anything. Real grudge feeling is there. Yes, someone in the back there.
Thank you, Prabhu. In nectar of instruction, we hear last three verses about once you take bath in Radha Kund, and a lot of people say, I have taken bath many times, nothing happened. So, you would care to elaborate?
You don't know what has happened. That's all. Something has happened, but you're not pure enough to see it yet. But one day, just the Brijvasis, they say, Kara Kara Gavyase, Jarmati Hoto Sajan, Rasari Avata Javati Shilparpani Nishan. That Kara Kara Gavyase, Jarmati Hoto, even the dull-witted fellow becomes Sajan, gentleman. By what? Abhyas, by practice. Just like Arjuna, he asked Krishna, how am I going to control this mind? Easier to control the wind. And who can control the wind? Nobody can control the wind. He said, easier to do that. And what does Krishna say? Abhyas and vairagya. By practice. And what is the proof? They said, just sometimes we go to Prikama, we go to places, what to speak of running water, or even a hand pump, there's not even a hand pump. So there's a well, and all around the well there's stones, and they have grooves cut in them. If I tell you, you take a rope and cut a stone, you'll say, what are you talking about? And that rope's going down to the water, it's getting wet, it's becoming even softer. But avata javat, coming and going, coming and going, coming and going. Shilpar, shield on the stone, Nishan, the mark is there. Nobody came with a chimti, with that wet rope, just coming and going, so our heart is like a stone. But you just keep trying, practice. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. One day you'll see Radha Kund as it is. Trouble is, we're in the internet age. We just want to click on the link and bing, and you got to do the work.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. I think it's getting cold, so maybe we can.
Yeah. So give me my. I have one of my 2 copies of our book with us. This is Vraja Bhakti Part 3, Giriraj, the King of Mountains. Because in Vraj Leela 1 and Vraj Leela Part 2, we did the whole Prikama of Churasi Coast Prikama. But we only spent mentioned a few places on Govardhan. But I thought Govardhan needs a book all by itself because everybody goes there and does Olympics. They run around, they see Kusuma's rover, Govinda Kund, maybe Radha Kund. and see how fast they can go. But you won't believe how many places are in Govardhan. We did 6-7 years of research just looking for all these places. And my dear friend here, you all know him as Arjun Bhattacharya, he took pictures of all these places. So we have 284 color pictures, 32 color paintings. We had to get special permission from BBT, which they happily gave. And every place we could find, we went through Vraja Bhakti Vilas by Narayan Bhatta Goswami. He gives ashram mantras and pranam mantras, and you ask people, where is this place? Nobody knows. Even in 500 years, so many places have disappeared. So we have now, whatever we could find, with 6-7 years of research, we have pictorial and written evidence for those places on Govardhan. There's 530 pages of nectar. And because so many colored pictures are there, it's all glossy paper. If you buy it on Amazon, you have to pay $60. But we have it here with us tonight, and we only ask small donation, $25, and I'm here to sign it if you want a copy. And we don't need cash. We can take cars, we can take Venmo, whatever it is, Google Pay, Apple Pay. Anyway, anyhow.
Hare Krishna. So, how did you like going to Radha Kund today? So, if you get this book, 1/3 of the book is Radha Kund. It's not just about the appearance of Radha Kund, but there are also midday pastimes of Radha Kund, which is directly coming from Sri Govinda Lilamrita. So, you get a lot of nectar. So, please take a look at the books. We have brought them from Vrindavan, and of course, in Amazon it's very expensive. So, if you like, please take a copy.
Well, okay, we'll end with Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
You have to press once more.
Nope.
Long press, Prabhu. Little long press. Just once more. Yeah.
You hear so much Katha he paid, I Hare Krishna. So we end with nice kirtan from Braj. So you're all tired of sitting, so you can all stand up because it's dancing music. And this is the original, because now Janmashtami is coming, this is the original Janmashtami song.
Haribo!
You ready? Madhagalala? We're going to give you workouts. Nandagara Nanda Vayo Jai Kaniya Lal Ki. Nandagara Vayo Jai Kaniya Lal Ki. Nandagara Nanda Vayo Jai Kaniya Lal Ki. Nandagara means Ananda's home. There's Anand, bliss. And he's saying, Bayo, oh brothers, there's bliss in Nanda Maharaj's home today. Nandagara Nanda Bayo. Jai Kaniya Lal, his little Kaniya Lal has been born. Nandagara Nandabayo Jai Kariya Lal Ki Elephants, Hati, and Gora, and when he ran out of Gora and elephant, then he gave Palki. Hati didi Gora didi, Gora didi 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 Palki. Oh, those who are walking with 3 legs now. You start with 4, you go to 2, then you end up with 3. So Buddha and go, Talki. Jawan and go, Hati go, Buddha and go, Talki.
Govindo Hari